That's it!
Christopher Nolan is a British director who's known for many movies today, like Dunkirk and the Dark Knight trilogy. But I took a look at his older movie, Memento, which is his second feature-length film. Memento is a neo-noir film released in 2000, directed by Nolan, and it has way more charisma than any of his later movies. The later movie that I checked out was The Dark Knight, a classic in its own right, but you gotta admit, it's pretty by the books. The story structure starts from the end, and then it goes back to the beginning. So basically, to make this less confusing than it already is, the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. The movie is told in reverse, so there's a bit of dramatic irony because you already know how it's gonna end, but then you also don't know how you got there. So it's a really clever way of telling the story, and different creatively from anything that Nolan makes today. The movie, on top of that, also has black and white flashbacks, which give context to things that just happen in the story. So if something happens in color, then there's going to be a flashback to before the events of the movie even took place in black and white, explaining how he got to that point, or how he got to that conclusion. It's very clever in the way it tells the story, and it's honestly amazing to think that the same Christopher Nolan directed that movie, and also directed the by the books, yet also great Inception or Dark Knight. Speaking of The Dark Knight, that was a movie that I also checked out for the newer movie. One, it was easier because I already have it on DVD, and two, it gives a great example of Nolan's current vision. While not being the most creative or visually stunning, it's passable, yet it has his style rubbed all over it in a realistic setting, yet also being sort of unique. The editing is less frantic than Memento, obviously because of the different story structure, but just in general, from a creative standpoint, it's more by the books, so it's easier for the audience to pick up on. And cinematography is on point, especially during the scene where Batman literally kidnaps a man from Hong Kong. That scene looks great, but otherwise, the movie is just bland in comparison. While Memento has many more creative shots than The Dark Knight, it's honestly kind of night and day with Nolan. You can't really tell where his creative vision was lost for The Dark Knight. I mean, yes, it's a comic book movie. Yes, there are a lot of executives telling him what to do, but directors still like to influence their movies creatively. All in all, it's clear to see where his creative beginnings began and the stuff that he kept from this movie onwards into movies like Dunkirk, Inception, all that. And that's what makes him a great director. Wow, that is great. Can't believe I actually finished. So I'm gonna just... Oh, Mr. Nolan! I was just talking about your movies. I think they're amazing. Especially The Dark Knight, you know, the one that everybody loves. Yes, that's... Yes, I'm just... What are you doing? What? Get away, get away. Day 23. I'm still hiding from Christopher Nolan. Oh God.